current aftermath of a donut, but you can see that fat absolutely does affect blood sugar. You could see I rose initially, kind of flatlined, and now I rose again from the added fat, kind of delaying some of the carbohydrates. Considering I only went up to 140, I must have pretty much appropriately bolused for this donut. I guessed about 40 carbs, plus I guessed about 11 or 12 for my milk, so you're talking about 51-ish carbs, 5 units insulin. I run a 1 unit per 10 in the morning, and it seems to work okay. Hey y'all, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel, and because T1D with Maddie episode 2 falls on a Friday, I thought this would be Friday's video. And today's topic is posed by a question that I wanted to address, kind of my thoughts and opinions on it, because I think this is something that's kind of sits in the back of a type 1 diabetic's mind, or maybe people that just prefer to use these versus the real thing, and that is my thoughts on the safety and consumption of artificial sweeteners. I have a lot of notes down here. Again, I will leave a link to all the articles I have used down below so that you can do your own further research. Like I said, with these videos, I'm intending A, not to offend you, and B, I'm giving my honest opinions and facts that I have learned about these topics. So please do not criticize me, please do not judge me, but this is my opinion. You don't necessarily have to believe my opinions and the research I have done. Always do your own research to ensure that you've got things covered for your lifestyle and for your situation. So before I jump into everything here, I'm going to give a quick definition of what an artificial sweetener is and give some examples of them. So an artificial sweeteners are sweeteners that are used in place of sugar, which is sucrose or glucose, or sugar alcohols. They try to mimic the taste of sweet and sugary without added calories or without added effects on blood sugars to help people with diabetes. They also help with dental decay. Now, I'm not sure about the dental decay part. I am studying to be a dental hygienist. I would agree probably the real sugars are going to carry more of an issue if you're having dental cavities or caries, but I still think that it's not really a good thing because oftentimes artificial sweeteners are combined with things such as acids in diet sodas, and often will wear on the tooth enamel and the dentin, which aren't good for your teeth either. So I don't know if I quite believe that, but that's what the definitions I read. So these artificial sweeteners are often found in diet drinks, and they're often found in like sugar-free foods like baked goods, desserts, cookies, candies, gums, anything that has like the word diet on it or sugar-free. You're often going to find these artificial sweeteners. Whether or not they're truly carb-free is another story, because as you know, as diabetics, we should be looking at the total carbohydrate and not just the sugars when making treatment decisions with insulin. So I'm going to jump in more to the benefits of maybe using these first. The two benefits I found were A, weight control and blood sugar control, and mainly that's because these artificial sweeteners are very low or no calories, so you're not going to be putting on excess weight, and obviously because of their biochemical arrangement, they should have little to no effect on blood sugars. Now, I am sure there are some people out there that have issues with drinking diet drinks and it still raises their blood sugar. It may be from the artificial sweetener, it may be from something else put in that diet drink. So as always, do your own experiments on foods and drinks that may or may not affect blood sugar. I'm going to jump into now more of some of the research that they have done with a particular sweetener called saccharin. This is a study down back in the 1970s. They believed that this particular artificial sweetener was linked to bladder cancer when they did a study on laboratory rats back in the 1970s. Since then, now they've kind of disproved that. It's not really a scientifically known fact that artificial sweeteners do cause cancer. And whether you agree with me on that is another story, but I don't think the FDA would approve these sweeteners if they weren't safe for us to consume in certain quantities. Obviously, they put limits on these things, so how much they're going to put in drinks, obviously because there are millions of people out there that are drinking them. And I think as long as you're eating these in limited quantities, I don't think you're going to have an issue. Now, if you go to a factory and drink gallons of these artificial sweeteners, you may have issues. The issue I could see with these is if you overconsume them. Obviously, you know the liver is the organ that processes all the biochemical things that enter our body. It turns things and breaks down things and takes care of toxins. So if you overload the liver with all these different artificial sweeteners, like excessive quantities, like drinking gallons and gallons of Diet Coke in a day, well, then yeah, you might be doing some damage more so to your liver. It might biochemically alter the liver, or the liver just gets so overwhelmed that it starts to fail, kind of like people that have problems with alcohol. If they overconsume alcohol, obviously the toxins, the liver cannot keep up with the heavy toxins from the alcohol, so the liver just kind of shuts down. They say these are even safe in low quantities for pregnant women. I'm not sure if I quite agree with this. Again, I have no intents on getting pregnant in the near future, but this is something I'll definitely dig into more as I go forward in my life. But I think like anything else, no matter if you have pregnancy or not, or if you have a health issue or not, I think it's moderation is the key to everything. Obviously, eating 10 pounds of chocolate a day is not good for you. Probably drinking 10 gallons of Diet Coke for you is not good for you a day. Even maybe eating thousands of pounds of broccoli a day is probably going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for your stomach either. Just like with anything, in moderation is key. You don't want to eat, 10 candy bars in a day. You don't want to eat excess amounts of fruit. It's basic stuff, people. It boils down to common sense. It boils down to research, but it mainly boils down to how you're feeling too. So, some examples of these artificial sweeteners, there is stevia, aspartame, sucralose, and S-sulfame potassium, and obviously saccharin. I will kind of label these things down here. Sucralose is like stevia, not stevia, it is Splenda. It's kind of that kind of powdery sort of, what's the term? It's a very like powdery kind of styrofoam like sugar, if you ever like seen the texture of it in bags. I personally don't use Splenda. And every time I've tried to cook with it, it burns. So I definitely don't use Splenda. I have tried things with stevia. Stevia is a plant-based artificial sweetener. I do like the taste of it. I have had it in Halo Top ice cream. I don't think it tastes bad at all, and I think it's a more natural artificial sweetener. Aspartame and S-sulfame potassium are probably found in your typical diet sodas. I know they're in like Diet Cokes, Diet Root Beers, Diet Dr. Peppers. I don't think those are too much of an issue either. The only thing is some people do complain of having like headaches or abdominal pains when they eat aspartame in high quantities. And again, just like with anything else, if you overconsume things, it could be hard on your liver. As a warning, people with PKU or phenylketonuria, which is a genetic-based disease that you're born with, consuming aspartame will kill them or damage their health, so warning to that. And then there's saccharin. I don't really know a whole lot on saccharin. Obviously, they had done a study way back in the 1970s on lab rats and thought it had caused bladder cancer. I don't think I've consumed a lot of foods with saccharin. I don't really see a lot of foods with saccharin, but I definitely consume foods with aspartame, S-sulfame potassium, stevia, and sucralose or Splenda. So, just like everything else, moderation is key. If I'm going to choose an artificial sweetener, I try to avoid aspartame as much as possible, just because if I drink it in high quantities, sometimes I feel a little different, or I might get a little bit more of a stomach upset. But I'm not sure if it's from that, or if it's from like the diet fizzy drinks. I think they tend to have a lot more carbonation to them, which can obviously upset your stomach. Stevia I have not noticed an issue with, and sucralose I haven't noticed an issue with. So I guess if you're gonna try to eat artificial sweeteners or consume them in a little heavier quantities, probably stevia and sucralose are your best options, because those are probably the most closely mirrored biochemically to glucose or sugar. And another option you can use too, which aren't completely sugar-free, is sugar alcohols. These are found in like gums, they're found in like Halo Top ice cream and some other types of candies. They're very low in carb and lower in calories, and oftentimes if you're counting carbs with sugar alcohols, they usually they raise your blood sugar, they cut your blood sugar raise in half. So if something has 10 grams of carbohydrate, but 5 of those grams come from sugar alcohols, it's very, very likely that you only have to account for 5 to 7 grams of carbohydrate for that particular food, for that particular meal, because they don't really absorb into the bloodstream as quickly. They have less calories, but they're not calorie-free. And the only issue with sugar alcohols is if you consume them in super high quantities, you get more of a bloating or issues with digestion and stuff. They can definitely cause excess gas buildup. I have consumed Halo Top ice cream with sugar alcohol. I could definitely tell it's definitely sweetened different. It definitely has that sugar alcohol taste, but it's not like bothersome to me. And I did not notice an issue with digestion later on. So my body, for whatever reason, handled whatever sugar alcohol was in there just fine. But it might be more of an issue if you consume, like, say, candy bars with excess sugar alcohols, because candy bars are going to be extremely fattening. The ice cream for Halo Top is pretty low in fat, so it's not like the fat's going to delay that sugar alcohol from kind of working on your body a little bit. So I say sugar alcohols are a good option as long as you're not getting sick from these things. And like I said the 1000th time in this video, it's moderation. Don't be consuming pounds and pounds of these things. And obviously I drink diet soda, but I don't like to drink a ton of it, only because being a dental hygienist, I know the acidity of any type of fizzy drink is not going to be good on your teeth. Could cause dental caries and could cause a lot of problems with your gingival health. Not exactly good. But again, it's all a matter of perspective. It's all a matter of how you're feeling, and obviously the research you do will maybe affect how you're going to interpret things. But obviously, as type 1 diabetics, it's not our fault that our diabetes happened. It was not caused by eating too much sugar or consuming too many carbohydrates. So it is up to you. I definitely do eat enough sugared forms of anything else. I do eat regular ice cream. I do drink juice and such. Regular candy bars and stuff. But every now and again, I'll try more of those lower carb options just to see what it's like, and maybe to see if it's a better option for me. Because like the Halo Top ice cream, I can have like a half a cup, and it's about the same number of carbs as a third of a cup of regular ice cream, so you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck, I guess you could say. You're obviously going to get more quantities of food with the same or less carbs. So again, it's all up to you. All up to you what you want to decide to do with your consumption of artificial sweeteners, but this is my 2 cents on these. Again, you have to do your own research. I'll leave everything linked down below. I hope this helped you out, and I hope you enjoyed T1D with Maddie episode 2. Stay tuned for March 1st, 2019 when we go into T1D with Maddie episode 3. As always, if you want me to discuss more controversial topics that relate to type 1 diabetes, feel free to comment those down below. I'm willing to talk about almost anything. If you missed last month's, I talked about my opinions and all of the knowledge I know on the keto diet. Like I said, if it's anything to do with diets, dosing regimens, doctors, medications, etc. you want me to talk about, feel free to comment down below. I'm open to anything. I am suggesting things on my own. As you could tell, this video was suggested by my own self. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Take care. God bless. Be kind, spread positivity, and be thankful. And I will see you tomorrow for another video. Bye, everyone.